Hi, I'm Pastor Charlie, and in this video I am walking you through my quick menu that I do when I'm in a rush, or maybe when I've finished work or I'm just about to start work and haven't been able to do my main menu. All you're going to need is something to put your knees on if you need to. If you can't kneel down on the floor, I'll show you in a minute. Something to roll your feet out. I always start with my feet. Good place to start because lots of people have got dysfunctional and really rigid feet. I use this first thing in the morning. I feed the dogs and I roll my feet out, and also when I do boil the kettle I use it. Do it anyhow, feel comfortable. You can do it sitting down, you get more of an effect. If you are stood up like this, you can hold on to something. Just make sure whatever you do on one foot, you do on the other, so it's nice and even. I really like to get into the nooks and crannies. I like to stand on it like that, go up on my heel, like that, and balance. Really get in those nooks and crannies. Got an arch that goes up like that, and one that goes across like that. Really stretch those toes out. Had a nice little click there. I normally spend about a minute and a half, 2 minutes on each foot. Swap over, do exactly the same. Pop it to the side. Then we are going to do a quad stretch. This has been amazing for me. Such a game changer. I found out I've got really tight quads that hold on, and they won't let my hip flexors work correctly. And you need your hip flexors working correctly. Otherwise, you're walking, everything you do, the hip flexors control every movement basically of you walking or moving with your lower half. Okay, so you're going to need something to lean on if you have a hard floor or if your knees can't stand hard floors. Now, you can support either side. I've actually perfected it now without that. So start like this. Come like that, and then lean back. As the knee that you've got here, the further towards the wall that you have it, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. So suck it and see how you feel. I've got my sweet spot about there. Okay, some important pointers. Make sure that your knee doesn't go forward, and making sure that your ankle isn't underneath your knee, closer to your bottom. You need a really nice straight line from ankle to knee. Make sure that your knee points directly straight ahead. You might find that it wants to go in like that or out like that. If you can, try and make sure that you've got a straight line there. Make sure your foot's straight, but really remember what I said about your knee needs to be pointing straight ahead. Same with your pelvis. With me, my pelvis, my hip, my torso, upper torso and the lower torso want to go towards there. So this side always feels really weird. So pointers, the foot, your ankle, you might have some stiffness in your ankle. Just try it and see what's good for you. I've found that I do position 30 seconds and then do another position for the 30 seconds. So it's 1 minute in total on each side. Okay, so from behind, it's like that and like that. Okay? So we are going to do it again. Put it up. Okay, making sure nice and straight. Knees pointing straight ahead. Foot is straight ahead too. Pelvis, headlights, straight ahead. I'm not leaning like that and I'm not leaning like that. Try and have your head and your shoulders and your upper back touching the wall, and you'll get a really big stretch down there. So do that for 30 seconds, and then depending on what my foot's doing, I will give it a little jiggle around to make sure that I've got, there you go, you can probably see it, it's a little bit more out now. I'm getting more of a stretch here because the quad is actually 4, that's why it's called quad, 4 together. So you're really making sure that you're stretching all of the quad and not just 1 or 2. That's such a good stretch. I'm going to change over and do the other side. And I leave really big marks on my wall. My husband's always telling me off. This side is the easiest side for me, but it's the side that's the actual tightest. So I'm going to set myself up again. Straight line. Making sure I've got my ankle in a straight line over my knee. Okay, so you can have your arms down here. I like to do this because that makes sure that I've got a nice straight line from my shoulders. I'm not going like that, I'm not going like that. So I find if I hold like that, that's actually a really good position for me. Can feel a really good stretch down here. So remember, it's 1 minute on each side. I normally do, I find it really difficult to do a whole minute on one leg. And I like to rearrange my foot as well, just making sure that I get all of my quad muscles stretching. Now I've moved my foot slightly, I'm getting more of a stretch down here. So really important to breathe and enjoy the stretch, and only go as far as is comfortable for you. If you find it's too much of a stretch, come back out with that leg and just stretch those quads. Let them get some length into them. I find that if my quads are tight, everything else in my back and my pelvis, and it's really horrendous. It's such a game changer for me, this exercise. Okay, just remembering to keep nice and level shoulders. Don't go like that and don't go like that. Head goes back. Breathing nice and deeply. Head nice and relaxed, looking straight ahead. And get that stretch. Okay. And now I do air bench, and really important to find your sweet spot here. You need to be able to not slip. So I have got a really good setup here on my mat. You probably won't be able to do this. It really works with my hard floor. I wear no shoes on this non-slip mat, and now I'm pushing all the way from my heels, the weight in my heels, pushing all the way and feeding all the way up. Actually, I've got my there you go. Your feet need to be hip-width distance apart. Knees, really concentrate, need to go pointing direct like headlights. Your hips, your pelvis, hips, headlights, and your pelvis and lower back are really pushing into the wall. So if you can, try and do 3 minutes of this. I'm up to 2.5 minutes now. Just do as much as possible. It's really important to have your back flat against the wall. Your head, you need to try and get that on the wall. But if you've got a forward head and forward shoulders, it's going to be difficult. Really concentrate on pushing the weight through your heels, feeding all the way back up into your pelvis and lower back, and you're really pushing into the wall. This will really straighten out that pelvis, any crookedness, any wonkiness going on. It's a fabulous one to do if you've been stood on your feet for like all day or driving. Have your arms like this, down like that. Even have your hands like this if it's comfortable for you. Really try hard not to grip with those toes. Push the weight through your heels, and then that will feed all the way up into your pelvis and into your lower back. It will really make sure that that pelvis is sitting in a really good position for the rest of your day. Just do as long as you can, come out of it and push out like that. And then I do this. It's the frog position. So you're putting your feet together like that. Don't be tempted to have them up as high as your, close to your bottom as possible. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Okay, feet together, probably further away from your bottom than you normally have them. Your feet stay really active in this position, so I want you to really push them together. All of your feet, all of your toes, from your big toe all the way to your little toe, all the way down the outside edges of your feet and the inside edges. They need to be touching, really active here. And I stay here for 2-3 minutes, and I do like to put my hands behind my head, and when I'm doing that, I'm trying to activate my shoulder blades to be pinching together. And just relax as far as you can, or as much as you can when you're in this position. Sometimes I get a click from my pelvis, my right pelvis and hip, they do tend to click a little bit in this one. So even though it doesn't look much here, you're actually really active with your feet, and that feeds all the way up through your legs and into your glute muscles, and you might even feel it in the insides of your legs depending on what you're doing. And if, like me, you've got your hands behind your neck, you can really activate those rhomboids and your shoulder muscles. Just make sure you're not flaring your chest, your rib cage. Really nice, deep breaths. Remembering to keep those feet really active. There's nothing really passive in this. It just looks a passive position, but it's not. So if you can't do 3 minutes, aim for 1 minute. Even if 30 seconds is all you can manage, that's perfect. Go at your own pace. So that is my own personal routine for first thing in the morning when I'm in a rush and I can't do a really long menu, or when I've been doing something and I need to realign myself. We have got the ball that I used. I've got a little dog ball that I got from a pet shop, really nice and hard. So do that for 2 minutes on each foot if you can, and then you've got the quad stretch. Just do 1 minute on each side, and then, goodness me, I forgot what we had. We did the air bench, so we did that for 3 minutes, but do that for as long as you can, that is comfortable for you. And then we did the frog, so 3 minutes if you can, but those are just times to work towards. It's much better to do absolutely amazing 10 seconds than really rubbish, rushed 3 minutes. And it's really important that you concentrate on your breathing too. If you're finding you're holding any tension in your jaw and in your shoulders and your neck, stop and then come back to it another day, because you really don't want to be transferring all of your energy doing a bad exercise here and then having to work out more because you're doing something too quickly and maybe it's something that you shouldn't be doing yet. I will put in the writing underneath this video exactly what I've done and how many minutes that I suggest. If you've got any questions, give me a shout. And I'm really sorry for my croaky voice. I'm on quite a lot of medication because I've got some quite bad allergic reactions come back again. So I'm just having to pace myself and I just sound a bit croaky. I hope you enjoyed my video.